Really excited to speak with this guy again, representing travelers with their unit manager is going to be Stephen Brasher. Stephen, you are now on What the Truck. What's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, doing well. How are you, Malcolm?
Doing well, doing well. I want you to meet my partner in crime, Mr. Michael Vincent. He's got some questions for you, real quick.
Hey,
Steve. Hey, who's the most
yeah,
famous UTC alum besides you and then Malcolm?
the most famous UTC alum.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe me.
Besides you and Malcolm, not between you two, but besides you two, I'm going to say it's Hugh Beaumont.
Yeah, I can see that. Sure.
I mean,
Hugh Beaumont.
or Terrell. Look, we're gonna bring we're gonna do a virtual.
Hugh Beaumont of Leave It to Beaver.
It is. It absolutely is. So we're gonna put Ward Cleaver and Terrell Owens in a virtual cage match and see who wins.
See who wins. Listen, give me Stephen Brasher.
I do want to say something real quick because I loved your bit about the who's not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I would agree all day long that Television's Marquee Moon, that record is a game changer, man.
Are you kidding me, dude? If 25 years ago and an influence on rock and roll is the criteria, why aren't they there? I don't get it.
100%. They should be there.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
Amen.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. Well, Stephen, let's start at the beginning. I want you to paint me a picture of how routine truck accidents can actually turn into a financial nightmare, and what happens when towing costs truly do get out of hand.
Sure. Yeah. So imagine that it's 3 a.m. and one of your drivers is involved in a rollover accident on the interstate. In this scenario, the truck and the trailer are blocking the roadway. The trailer is breached. Cargo spilled out, ends up strewn across the highway. So big mess. So what's going to happen next? County sheriff shows up. He's got one priority: get those travel lanes cleared as fast as possible. So he dispatches a tow company. And here's the first thing motor carriers need to understand: you do not get to choose that tow company. Mm-hmm. And now this tow company has your truck, your trailer, your cargo. If the cargo is still salvageable, they'll take it to their storage facility. And this is where things get contentious very quickly. So the meter starts running with the tow company the moment they take possession of the equipment and the cargo. So we're talking an average of $120 per day for storage. That's per component. So that's $120 for the truck, $120 for the trailer, $120 for the cargo, and that's every single day. And they will not release any of it until their invoice is paid in full.
Wow. So, in other words, they have you over a barrel is what I'm hearing, essentially?
Exactly. They are holding your property until the bill is paid. And this really leaves carriers both with little leverage and mounting costs. So the truck is down, cargo isn't moving, and every hour costs money. Towing operators know exactly how desperate the situation is, and they can use it to their advantage. So we've all heard that, possession is 9/10 of the law, right? In this case, the tow company has all the leverage, and you as the motor carrier definitely do not. And this scenario generates an enormous amount of litigation. In fact, studies have shown the average invoice for tow and recovery of equipment and cargo was nearly $12,000. But we've seen bills go much, much higher than that. In fact, there's a documented case in Virginia where a single truck crash recovery resulted in an invoice that charged $200,000. It's 6 figures.
Do they? Is the argument kind of because you talk about predatory towing, and I get covering your costs and saying, dude, you need to pony up, right? And I would issue credit to certain companies, right? The larger they were, well, maybe not Yellow, but you know what I'm saying, like a Saia or a well-run company. An Old Dominion might get credit. But do they assign value of cargo to these now? Is that what they're trying to do to try and pump this up? Because you're more desperate to get like the load of Guy Fieri's tequila and maybe not.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of what the tow company is going to charge you, they're going to charge you storage for the truck and the trailer and the cargo, all 3 components. And so it gets really costly really fast. And that's on top of just the cost for the actual recovery of getting rollout trailers to the scene and traffic control and all the other elements that go into it. So $200,000 for one towing incident. And what makes this even more complicated is the potential insurance coverage gap. So keep in mind that multiple entities can be involved in a single tow event, including the motor carrier, the shipper, the broker, and the insurance agencies for each party. Generally speaking, an auto policy covers the truck and trailer, cargo insurance covers the cargo. So there's, let's call it, a triangle of coverage that gets very murky very fast. Tow costs, storage fees, damage done to the cargo. There can even be questions, was the damage created by the tow company itself? So it's important to note that often coverage for towing is specifically sublimited. So if that tow recovery bill comes in at 60,000 or 100,000, and I can assure you it does, the motor carrier is responsible for the difference. So for example, let's say you have a $50,000 sublimit for cargo tow cost and the cargo recovery bill is 60,000. That leaves a $10,000 excess exposure over those sublimits for the cargo expenses, and the motor carrier is responsible for that excess. So that can be devastating, a devastating financial hit, especially for small fleets and owner operators.
It's huge, dude.
This is huge. And I was going to ask, Steven, is this common, or is this, I mean, are we talking just a few cases, or is this something that you're starting to see, you and the team at Travelers, more regularly?
Yeah, so in this scenario with the rollover, I see at least one rollover a day. I mean, they're extremely common, and especially in winter months when the roads are icy, that number exponentially goes up, and the tow costs go up with it. So roughly 83. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was going to say roughly 83% of motor carriers have experienced excessive towing rates. So let me say that again, 83%. It's not a niche problem. We've also seen tow companies double bill, adding the same invoices, or sending the same invoice, I should say, to two different insurance companies and collecting from both. Could just be a mistake. I'm not sure.
It's crazy, man. We had Marina Ivanov.
Yeah.
She was. Yeah, they just got some decent laws passed on predatory towing, et cetera, and booting and all that kind of stuff. Because it is. So how do they fix this? I mean, you got the insurance and that type of stuff, but can you create like a national chemtrek of legitimate towers that should be there or something? Is what it kind of seems like. Like get rid of the predatory people through some sort of regulation.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, there is regulation out there, but it's very spotty and it's very state specific, and you really don't have time in the moment to go out and figure out what the regs are for this particular state. So it's really, I mean, the tow companies really have all the leverage in this scenario, and it's sort of like the wild, wild west out there. But there are some practices that we can recommend to try to minimize and mitigate these exposures, and I can give you 5 of those best practices right now if you want to hear them.
I would love that.
Yeah. So first, and this might be the most important thing I can tell you, notify your insurer immediately. I mean, timely notification is everything. We've had carriers call us 3 weeks after an accident, and by then the storage fees alone have become enormous, and we're starting from a position at that point of zero leverage. So the moment something happens, call us. We get involved. We can start splitting the bill. Truck, trailer, cargo, it's typically a third across the board as a baseline. The point is, we can negotiate, but we need to know immediately. I can't say that enough. Got to get the insurance company involved as quickly as possible. So next, know your policy limits before an accident happens. Check your towing related coverage. Know what your limits are. If you don't have awareness going in, you could get blindsided with it when an issue occurs. So you can get more thorough coverage if you want it, but make that decision now, not on the side of the highway. Third, don't miss an opportunity to bargain. Towing companies know the invoices are inflated. They expect to negotiate. Every insurer will try to work the bill down, and most towing companies will generally compromise. So don't accept the first number they give you. Always negotiate. Fourth, demand an itemized bill every single time. Push back on labor charges, equipment charges, storage fees, and check carefully for double billing. And then lastly, document everything, every email, every phone call, every attempt you made to resolve the situation. Remember, at the end of the day, in interstate transit, the motor carrier is strictly liable for that cargo. So you can't walk away. But if you're making good faith efforts to pay and they're refusing to negotiate or release your cargo, make sure everything is documented.
Steven, I mean, this has been incredibly eye-opening. Predatory towing, of course, is bad news, but trucking companies need to be aware of it. Where can carriers go to learn more to get help with this, specifically from Travelers?
Yeah, so travelers.com has a wealth of resources available. And of course, talk to your agent, make sure your coverage limit is right before you need it. Because in this environment, a breakdown or an accident is no longer just an operational headache. It's a potential 6-figure financial event.
This is important stuff. Really appreciate you for bringing it up. And just thank you so much again for being here, Steven.
Hey, my pleasure. Great to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Peace and love, Steven.